What happened to us? When did we become such a shallow society? I really want to know, like, when was the turning point? It seemed like one minute we cared about who you were as a person, and then the second minute, all that did not matter anymore. And I always say, think, I'm so happy that I grew up in a different era. I am so happy. I always say I would have been so insecure nowadays. Looks are subjective. I repeat, looks are subjective. Yeah, you can have in your mind what natural beauty is, strong jawline, um, good body weight, good skin, little stuff like that. But after that, what's next? Like somebody can be attractive to you, and not so attractive in my eyes. It's like, what are we going to end up being? We're all going to be insecure. That's what's going to happen because we're all going to be unsure of what beauty truly is. To this day, I've been on this earth 30 years and I still don't know what attractiveness is, what it is to be attractive. I know one thing for sure: the most attractive thing is somebody that's down to earth, good spirit, good energy. You can't lose with that one. The problem is you can nowadays, because if you're not attractive in somebody else's eyes, you being a good person, like a natural good person, not a fake good person, you being a decent person means absolutely nothing if they don't find you attractive. And then on the flip side, you can be a jerk. You could be a meanie. You can be a mean person. If you're attractive, you'll get away with all that. People won't even trip off of it. You can say the craziest stuff. If somebody finds you attractive, it's flirtatious, it's cute, it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe they said that. But if you're ugly, that's the first thing that pop in your mind. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect. I fall into that trap. I'm very self-aware. I'm very hard on myself. Like, I see all my flaws, so I see others. It's natural. The problem is, I won't point out your flaws until you make me mad or you upset me. Then all of a sudden you're lying and just point the finger at other people. I don't do that. Like, I understand, I'm self aware of myself and others. I know nobody's perfect, but I know that looks should not be everything. It shouldn't be. Because if you make looks everything, then people won't work on anything else. Because we already put money at the top, like money, money, money. Oh, snap. What happened? Are we back? Let me see. Okay, we're back. I don't know what just happened there, but hopefully it don't last that long. Hopefully, that was messed up. But anywho, that's messed up. Okay, it's hot in here. Use a dirty tank top to wipe my face. But the point is, looks should not mean everything, because it will get to the point where people will put everything on their looks. That's all they're gonna worry about. They're not gonna worry about anything else. It's gonna be money and looks, and that is a terrible society to live in. It's gonna be a lot of ignorant, self-centered, main character syndrome. And I hate to bring up the internet, but it is a part of it. But I can't even blame the internet on this one, because we make that choice where we need to be able to separate the internet from real life. And I think what happens is, this is just a theory. I could be totally wrong. I think your effect on yourself, they say, like, the stuff and the way you act and how you carry yourself, especially towards other people, is projection. So if you spend a lot of time on your looks, whether it's exercising, eating healthy, makeup, eyelashes, wigs, men and women are combined in that. If you do all that, then naturally, I think you'll start looking at other people's situation. You work on yourself so much, now you're gonna look at other people, and not necessarily look down on them, but maybe you might look down on them for not going as hard and putting that effort in. People talk about money like that all the time. People will work 2 jobs, 3 jobs, and they'll look at somebody else that either doing half the work or not putting in half the effort and look down on them. What we should be doing is only focusing on ourselves. And if you do look down on somebody in any type of way, why don't you try to lift them up? Why don't you push them in the right direction? But we don't do that. All we do is just point the fingers. And I'm talking about myself too. I've done it before. I've worked a lot. I've worked out, and then I'll look at somebody else, especially if they make me upset, and that's the first thing I see, and that's the first thing I point out. Will I say it out loud? Probably not, but I'll say it in my head. To me, that's worse, because now I'm thinking it and you don't even know it, and I'm faking it, acting like I'm cool with this situation, but I'm not. But I think if people spent more time working on themselves and not looking at others, a lot of us will be further in life. But the problem is, since looks are subjective, you don't really know if you look good or not. You'll have 10 people say you're attractive, and then 10 more people say you're not that attractive, you're just okay. Then you'll have 3 people that say you're flat out ugly. And I know that for a fact, and I'm talking about experience from me. Everybody thinks Beyonce is the most gorgeous thing. Most people do. I don't find her attractive. Is it because other people find her attractive? Is it because she remind me of somebody? I don't know. But it goes to show that there is no somebody that's attractive to everybody. That's impossible. And you know what that makes? It impossible to know what you truly look like. I always thought it was a combination of working on yourself, grooming, and trying to be a better person. You can't lose. That combination, you can't lose. If you work on yourself on the outside and inside, you'll be attractive. But no, that's not the case. I think short form content probably did it. I'm having like issues with that right now in my head because one of the things I notice, and I could be totally wrong, I always notice that it will be an artist or somebody that draws anything, and they'll make a short content of them drawing, and then there'll be a super attractive conventional person that just words out a scene out of a movie, or they'll dance and they just get a whole bunch of views. And I'm like, is it people following each other? Maybe, but a lot of the times half the likes and views they get are from people that find them attractive. And what that is, that sets a margin of people. Now, people are in their mind coming up with what they find attractive and pushing it way up, and most people will never reach that. I always like look up stats and stuff on Google, and I always say this, but I don't know how or what they got the stat from, but they always say like it's a small amount of people that are actually attractive. Like if you look at the basic stuff like jaw lines, the separation of your eyes, how big your nose is, how small your head is. I don't know who came up with the perfect all that is, but they said if they put that, the perfect jawline and all that stuff together, most of us do not reach that. And some of it is our fault. Like if we eat a little better, if you're a little bit heavy and you slim down your face, automatically attractive. I feel like if you're just slimmer, a healthy slim, to most people, they'll find you attractive. But most of us, the genes, you can't help your genes. You're going to have to work a little bit harder, which means you're going to have to push a lot of stuff to the side to even focus on that, which means you'll take away from just being a good person, a naturally good person, a decent person, working on your personality, working on social cues. It's like, how can you, if you have bad genes, that means 80% of your time is going to be trying to fix your genes. But people, most people are like, okay, I'm not going to put all that into my looks. Some people just say, forget it. Some people, try for years, try different things. The whole point is they're so focused on their attractiveness because that's what gets you through the door that they don't worry about the other stuff. So let's say, for example, somebody puts all their time into being attractive. They put all their time just to get through the door, just so people will get more likes on social media, just so people will call them attractive. And then that's it. They haven't worked on anything else. And I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about personality-wise. They haven't worked on anything else. So now that's all they have is their looks. And that's why most of the time you come across somebody, this is my experience. I'm not even going to say it's your experience. But most of the time I come across people that are conventionally attractive or I'm attracted to. They don't have a personality. Like, yeah, they're fun and all that. But like as far as conversation or deep conversation, they just don't have it. Now, it could be because they put all their, energy into their looks, or it can be they never had to have it in the first place. Because if you're, let's just say, an ugly man, if you're a less attractive man, you have to work on a lot of stuff just to get close to the door. I'm not even going to say through the door. But from first look, if you're like a 6'5" out of 10 man looking, you're probably not, your personality ain't gonna matter. It's not. And I always look in the past, right? I feel like a man's attractiveness was not that important back then for a lot of reasons. But one of the main reasons is, women couldn't do that much. So they wanted a man that like was the full package. Looks, I feel like it was a plus, but if he can protect, if he can provide, if he can fix stuff around the house, I feel like they was looking at that type of stuff. Height always been a thing because the protection thing, but I feel like if a man was like a man, they'll be like, oh, he's not that attractive, but he's so good at everything else. It worked back then. But now since women are able to do more and pay for stuff that a man was supposed to do back then, now they're like, I don't care about none of that. I want to be attracted to him and that's it. That's my opinion on why women care about looks more because I don't feel like it was like that. Now, I could be totally wrong, but I've been around women. I've talked to women that weren't attracted to me at all, and they would talk about other men, and their looks would be the last thing. Was they not? Maybe they just didn't say it around me, but I just never heard that because I never really heard about like women, their height preference neither. But that could be another thing. So I could be totally wrong. Maybe they did talk about looks back then, but I've seen plenty of women that was dating dudes that I was like, dang, that's the dude was dirty, all type of that sounds terrible. I'm not gonna say that. But I was shocked back then. I would see a gorgeous woman and she seemed like she didn't care about looks. Now, and this is the thing, on the flip side, this is the crazy part. As I was getting older, I heard a lot of women say, it's hot. Let me wipe my face off. Dirty tank top time. In the past, I did hear women say they want to date an unattractive man. They was like they prefer to date an ugly man, and I was like, it still is the same thing as this video because looks. It still has to do with looks, but the reason why they say they wanted to date an unattractive man, they didn't say it, but the best way to put it is a lot of men don't have self-control. They're not used to attention and all that stuff. Even attractive men are not used to it, but they just feel a little safer with an ugly man because they know what women are looking for. And they feel like if they date a man that no woman wants, like look wise, that they don't have to worry about cheating, deception, lying. They don't have to worry about that. The man can go outside with a fresh suit on and they'll be like, I'm good, they're comfortable. Which, that's an insecurity thing, but, on her part, but that's a whole nother topic. But we're not going to get anywhere. And I know we're going 100 miles per hour in that direction of looks mean everything, but it's going to be bad. It's going to start getting worse. It's going to start, I don't know how worse it can get, but it's always going to get worse before it get better. And it's getting to the point where, I think it was like, people wasn't outly saying they was unattracted, they wasn't attracted to somebody, but I feel like it's going to get to the point where, people are just going to say it. Communication is going to get up there and they're just going to be like, you cool, but I don't find you attractive. We see it on the balloon dating videos. We see it on hearing about people dating apps. I be seeing a lot of videos. Well, on TikTok, they be doing like little live dating things where it'll be like 8 men live and then a woman will come up and pick who they want to date and there'll be a one dude up there that never gets any pick. So it's like, since we're moving so fast now and everything's so accessible, it's like looks are the first thing. And I feel like if people don't find you attractive, they're not even giving you a chance. They're just gonna be like, on to the next one. I talked about it in the last video about dating apps. Is everything so fast paced? Attractive. First thing you see is attractiveness. That's it. Your looks is the first thing. So it's like, to a certain extent, you have to work on it because that's what people see. And the reason why I worked on my looks, even, no matter how you look at me, the reason why I try to take care of myself is because I want to be respected. It ain't necessarily for the dating world. It's just I want to be respected to a certain extent. Because the reason why I say that is people will be like, oh, I don't care what other people think. I'm going to do what I want. It's levels to it, okay? Everybody cares what other people think. It's just you either care a little bit or you care a lot. There is, it's just it's a margin. Because it was a point in my life where I cared too much. And then I got to the point where it's a healthy care, where it's like, I want to be respected. If I go out, if I'm going to get a job, if I'm, going to an interview or whatever, I want to look a certain way. If I'm meeting up with people to do videos, I want to look a certain way just out of respect for them and myself. So it's like, we care. It's just to the point where now we're forced to care a little bit too much, especially if you're a single person, single parent, you want companionship. If you don't want to go the easy route and just get a pet and call it a day, or claim that you hate the opposite sex, you can go that route, but it's not gonna last you. That's a slippery slope. You keep going that direction, especially if you're one of those people that go online and constantly talk about the opposite sex. I feel bad for you because it's like, let's say you finally find somebody and they do meet all your expectations. You better delete all them old videos, because if they see them, they're gonna start reflecting on themselves and be like, oh, or they might not like the fact that you were saying all that. I noticed that too. A lot of people that are big on social media, they don't really get into relationships. And this is something I just thought about. It's like, from my point of view, back in the day when videos wasn't popping that much, but people would make statuses on Facebook, and a girl that I did find attractive, one day she'll just rant on there talking about one of her exes or whatever. I'd be like, I would never date her. I don't want to. She's attractive. I would DM her, but I wouldn't do it now, because I feel like when we fall out, she'll talk about me. And I feel like a lot of people, which it's starting to get up there, people are hitting 100,000 followers on TikTok and all that stuff, and they're talking about the opposite sex. So they're just giving out story times. They're probably going to be single for a while, until they delete their social media, because any right-minded person is going to be like, I like you. You seem like a cool person, but I don't want my business out there once we fall out. And I feel like it just plays a part. You can go that easy route and be like, you hate the opposite sex, go online, go around the world and talk about you hate, but you're going to have to eventually deal with the opposite sex. And it just sucks that your looks matter so much now. And it's like all of us are going against the grain, as far as like, especially let's just talk about the weight epidemic. Like, we're getting fed. I don't even think they're feeding us food anymore. I don't even think that. I shouldn't go into my conspiracy theorist bag, but it's like, you better hope you have good genes. I'm glad I got good genes, because the way I be eating, I'll be working so much, and then while I'm at work, I'm eating. When I get home, I'm eating. I don't be caring. I'll be like, I don't care. I'm finna eat what I want. I work too much. I'm sure people will look at me and be like, oh, he has a good diet. No, I don't. I eat terrible. I need to do better. I would say I eat 30% good, and then the rest is not good, because most of the things I eat got 20 ingredients in it. 20. And I only know the first 3, which is kind of good, because I think they go in order. The most in there is like at the top. But anyways, that ain't even the point. The point is, some people get lucky with good genes as far as looks and weight. And then everybody else, they got to put the effort into it. And that's like a weird dynamic, because let's say you got good genes and then you put all the effort into it. Now you're going to be one of those people that care about looks more than you should. Now, hopefully you're one of those humble people, because I feel like if you do a full body transformation, if you end up being humble after that, you are a strong-minded person. Because I feel like if you go on one part of the spectrum to the other and you're not like overconfident, you're a good person. Do I feel like most people are like that? No. Because in my opinion, most people, I wouldn't say are mentally weak, but it's like a lot of people are fed up. And if you're dealing with that, let's say if you're a heavy set person and you're dealing with society and how they treat heavy set people, looking down on you, not holding the door for you. I'm over exaggerating now, but you understand what I'm saying. And then you slim down, and then you see the other side where people kind of give you a little bit more respect. People kind of acknowledge you. If you end up being a humble person after that, you up here, you're mentally strong. Forget about the physical part. You're mentally strong. And shout out to you, because most people are going to lean to the side where once they get to the other side, kind of like when you're poor and then you get rich, it's like once you get rich, you look down on everybody that's poor. I don't know why that happens. You would think somebody be like, I've been there before, I understand it. No, people don't do that. They be like, yeah, forget that old me. That's the old me. I don't want to talk about that. And when it comes to looks, when people get, makeovers and stuff like that, it's never a humble beginning after that. It's more like, man, it's crazy. I've never seen anybody humble after that transformation. I've never seen it. I could be totally wrong, but we need to change this ASAP. Okay. I don't know how we're going to change it, what road we should go down to, make a left somewhere where we stop looking at looks so much and we start working on personality. Cause we talk about it all the time. We talk about how people don't know how to hold a conversation anymore, how people are so quiet in public, and People are not social anymore. I wonder why. Because all of their spotlight and their focus is on their looks. That's it. They're trying to be a fashion icon. They're trying to be the most attractive man and woman, or both. And it's like the conversation part, the small talk and all that stuff, or social cues is going out the window. Forget all that. People just want to look good. But looking good will get you through the window. I mean, I said the window. Looking good will get you through the door. But then after that, what's next? What, you just gonna just stand there and look pretty? That's not gonna get you anywhere. That's why I'm glad that when I was younger, less attractive, they didn't get any attention, worked on myself a little bit. And in the process of working on myself, I worked on learning how to talk, finding my personality. I hate when people say they have a personality. I feel like everybody has a personality, but it's like you want to kind of like hone into it and be comfortable with yourself. That way you can find people that are comfortable with you and like you for you. You know, that nonchalant stuff don't get you anywhere. But when I was working on myself, I tried to work on everything as a whole, work on everything, because my attractiveness, if you find me attractive, it'll get me through the door. But then what's next? And I want to work on everything. I want to be the best version of me. Do I think I'm there yet? No. But do I think it has something to do with looks? No. And from the man side, I'm telling you, I know I'm going on and on without taking a break, but it's bothering me. It's bothering me as a man. We're walking away from being a man. We're worrying about I'm not even judging, okay? But I don't understand it. The men getting their nails done, men too focused on their hair, and you know, all this unnecessary jewelry. Like, what about being the man part? I know you want to look good for the women. I know you want to get the attention from the women, but we got to be a man first, and other stuff comes second. Because if the woman that you really want to be with, that you want to be with for the rest of your life, you can't hone in on looks too much, because when y'all are together, you know, as you get older, you're not going to look that great. So you kind of want somebody that likes you for you. You know, you're not, you know, take care of yourself so you won't look like a bum, but you still want to work on yourself and be yourself, because first you got to find yourself, then be yourself. That way you can find somebody that you connect with properly and y'all can grow together. That looks, two people that look attractive, what is that? That's not even a connection. Yeah, there's two that you're connecting as the attractive level, I guess, subjectively, if that's a word. But after that, that's it. But I appreciate you watching. I go live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. New topics every day. I try to be live at 11 a.m. If you watch the whole thing live or you watched it on the watch back, I appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out. And hopefully you hit the like button on your way in. I love to have conversations with people. Anytime you pop into the live, you can add to the conversation. You could just say, what's up? I'm going to speak back, continue my rant, and go about my day. Like I said, if you're watching on the watch back, I appreciate you watching. I ain't going to talk too much after that because most people click off by now. But enjoy the rest of your day, and please don't worry about your looks that much. Even it out, 50-50. Worry about your looks and worry about building yourself. Be a good